निताई गौर प्रेमानंद हरि 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 नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिने ते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, धने जय धने हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हाथे ताली जोरे निताई गौर ब्रह्मानंदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे उलुद्धने हरिद्धने जय धने निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम उलुद्धने हरिद्धने जय धने शब्द में हरि बोल हरि बोल हरे बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Mayapur Book Distribution Day Ki. So on behalf of ISKCON Mayapur Sankirtan Department, we are happy to welcome all of you for the Book Distribution Day of ISKCON Mayapur. Every year we do during this Kirtan Mela time because many devotees are here and we need your blessings so that we can continue in our effort to distribute as many as books as possible to please Srila Prabhupada. So our program will be as follows. We will be hearing from different senior leaders of our ISKCON movement. We will distribute awards to those devotees who have done substantial contribution in the area of book distribute. Video একটা দেখানো হবে, তারপরে book distribution score announce করা হবে এবং বিভিন্ন ভক্তদেরকে আমরা প্রাইজ বিতরণ করব। তো এইভাবে অনুষ্ঠান 8টা অবধি চলবে। So first speaker will be His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. So Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj is the pillar of our book distribution in ISKCON Mayapur. And I heard from P.
We humbly request Rameswar Prabhu, please kindly come here. Your presence will bless us, please. Please give him the way.
keep some gap.
Hare Krishna. Jnanatimirandhasya jnananjana salakaya chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama We are celebrating today this function for glorifying the book distributors. So as all of you know that how Srila Prabhupada gave so much importance to this book distribution. So we say that Prabhupada has said that if you want to please me, you distribute books. But some people say, no. Prabhupada has said, if you want to please me, then you preach. If you want to please me, then preach. Reading books. That we have to understand. So as we know, Srila Prabhupada's times, there is only one service and one preaching program, book distribution. So due course of time, now in ISKCON we have varieties of preaching programs, Namahatta, Bhakti Vriksha, Youth Forum, Gita course, so many varieties of preaching program. But all of us, we have many varieties of preaching programs, starting from he started book distribution through congregation members. So there's the impression that book distribution through congregation members is a new thing. It's not new thing. Actually in Mayapur we have started this 20 years before. When Harikesh have thousands of distributors. So no, we don't have thousands, we have only 10-15 book distributors. Then he came to the idea, what about all this Namahatta? Then person Namahatta ke. So now the book distributor is a perfection of life, because I used to say, each of us, we must go on distributing books. The reason is, if because of our good and how they go out without any accommodation, no proper time for prasadam, and when they come back here also, all their property in their life is only one jhulli bag, that's it. One mat and whole life they spend with that. Prabhupada has described, when you go back to Godhead, we meet Krishna. Whatever trouble we have gone through our life, difficulties we have gone through our life, and Krishna is very most grateful personality. He has a record of everything, all troubles we have gone through. And Vishwanath Chakravarti describing, when we go back to Godhead, if we go by good fortune, then Krishna will say, oh, you have done so much for me. We just have a very happy life. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And when you go back to Krishna, what Krishna will remember? So we have to go through some troubles. Devotee then give devotee, and why we go through troubles? So that is the symptom of love, to go through the troubles. So every temple, I don't see as it was like when I joined ISKCON. Whole ISKCON, they only know book distribution. I have seen when I go 81, I went to Western countries, Pujari, temple president, everybody, at least one day a week, 2 days a week, they have to go book distribution. So many temples doing good book distribution and many are not doing good book distribution. That's why every time I say, the book distribution is an ornament of our temple. It's an ornament, putting golden ornaments. In India, Hindus, we follow a system. If some lady's husband dies, she becomes widow, then she cannot put any ornaments, temples. Because no book distribution is going on. So every temple, we must distribute books, very, very important. Finally, I would like to say, the Mayapur book distributors, they do hard work to distribute books. But same time, here they do marathon only. And of course, our congregation devotees, and we get a lot of sponsorship for distributing books in every school, thousands of books. And now we have started a new preaching program, ISKCON Tribal Care Initiative. The thousands and every tribal village after village, we are planning, we are getting sponsorship. We go to one tribal village. The tribals are gradually thinking they are no more Hindu. So at least make them feel Hindu, have a Gita and a Tulsi plant in their house. So we have a program like this, we are getting thousands of books sponsored. And we go to the remote forest and mountains. Prabhupada started distributing books in big cities. Then through Namahatta now we are going to each village. Then finally we must reach all these tribal people in forest and mountains. Naraswara Prabhu sponsored 1000 Gita this year also. So our target, I requested Gopal Krishna Maharaj, send an email to Maharaj. There are lakhs of books sponsored. So what we are doing, we are going in 1 year 60 tribal village. We go village after village to make every house one Bhagavad Gita. They have like that. So that is our program. So I will not take more time because Maharaj is here. And we are very fortunate that His Grace Ramesh Lees. Rameswara Prabhu has to speak. Naraswara Prabhu will introduce who is Rameswara Prabhu. Most of you don't know. Now what he has done for this book distribution. So I was once in Bombay 2-3 years before. He was giving class. He gave whole class how you can get Raganuga Bhakti by distributing books. So nicely presented that. He said the Gopi mood means distribute books. But we don't have time for him to speak so much, but briefly we'll hear from him. So I'd like to thank all our Sankirtan book distribution, congregation members, special temple departments also. We would not be able to come to first position unless we get all this combined effort, special ISKCON Mayapur management, MAC, and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, lying on his hospital bed. He was how we are doing book distributions. So he is the main person here. Shankara Prabhu said that I inspired. No, he started Sankirtan when we had a book guitar gun, 1 rupee. He personally was printing books here, would tell the place. Personally was distributing, leading us. And we are very, very thankful all the great personalities gathering here today for us to encourage us to distribute more and more books. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to request His Grace Nareshwar Prabhu to introduce Rameshwar Prabhu to all of us. Then Rameshwar Prabhu will enlighten us by his valuable speech on book distribution. Hare Krishna.
He was personally involved in all of that work. You've heard heard that Prabhupada said that impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. I think you've all heard that. So one time Prabhupada wanted to, Prabhupada told him that I'm going to come there and I want the Chaitanya Charitamrita brought out. And Prabhu was very enthusiastic. He said, yeah, we can do it this year. And Prabhupada, as I recall the story, he knows better. Yes, we'll do it in...
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananda Hare Krishna. First, I'm praying if any devotees during my years was in any way disturbed by my fanaticism. I do apologize if I caused you any discomfort. I feel I was directed to become a fanatic by Srila Prabhupada. He put that in me and told me once, that means he injected that fanaticism. So I apologize if my behavior ever disturbed anyone, but called his Western World headquarters. We bought the new Dwarka temple, and your Bhavananda Prabhu was in charge of decorating and painting Prabhupada's quarters, which to this day, the blue, the gold, the whole decoration that we used in now's quarters, that was done by him. That was the beginning of his special relationship with Prabhupada decorating. So anyway, one day, and Prabhupada was so happy after so much struggle to own that building for his headquarters. So one day he's sitting in the beautiful rooms of his, surrounded by some of the Krishna book art. And in the room was Bhavananda and Upendra, his servant. And in that glowing moment, Prabhupada said to them, I did not want to come down into this material world. Krishna asked me to come. And I said, Krishna, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave Goloka, Vrindavan. But Krishna said, no, you must go down into that world specifically to write these transcendental books. That was the most revelatory moment in all of our exchanges with Prabhupada, where he revealed such a pastime. Okay, Dwarka. This is the beginning of 1973. We're bringing every night to Prabhupada the reports. That was the last thing he would hear just before dismissing them and taking a little rest. So I just want to ask very quickly, the devotees in this room who are direct disciples of Srila Prabhupada, just raise your hand very quickly, just for a moment. Okay. You look around, 95% or more of the hands are not raised, right? I want to tell you how special you are, those who did not raise your hands. So at the end of about 2 weeks of me bringing these reports to Prabhupada, he took one of them one night, actually now I do remember the exact quote, to broadcast the glories of the Supreme Lord, Shmi. And that is my satisfaction. And then he wrote NB, which meant note below. If Prabhupada is telling his disciples that his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, would be pleased 1,000 times more than him, and how pleased he... So I can tell all of you who did not raise your hand, whoever your Guru is, whoever he, and one day she may be, whatever, by your distributing Krishna consciousness all over the world, will just be in awe and so pleased that you are getting that from Srila Prabhupada. So that he wrote to us in and then later in that same year, he wrote, as he was hearing the scores and the Sankirtan results, these temples, they are not places for eating and sleeping. They are bases from which we send out our soldiers, our men and women, to fight Maya. Fighting Maya means distributing thousands and millions of books to the conditioned souls, just like during the wartime, the bombs are raining from the sky like anything. I would just tell you a few more things about Prabhupada and book distribution. Once when he received a letter, I wrote a lot of letters to Prabhupada about book distribution. Once when he received a letter and he was hearing the results, he said, please continue in this way. Please go on publishing. And you know the word solace means he is so filled with anxiety as the representative of Lord Caitanya, and Lord Nityananda felt so much anxiety, how will every soul be saved, and the only solace, relief, the word solace is relief. The only relief in my life is when I hear how my books are being distributed. You think of that. And I'll just tell you one more story to this time. If you can imagine, a squad of soldiers and the leader of the squad in the midst of battle and war. Just imagine how close they work together and how intimate they know each other and how close they are to each other. In my usual gushing way, I was saying, Prabhupada, you have sacrificed so much to give us these books. So when Prabhupada got that letter, he wrote back to me something very, very sweet. He said, yes, this is just like and all of these book distributors, they are the actors on the stage. Just imagine that kind of intimate connection between actor and the director, day after day after day. That intimate feeling of connection happens to every book distributor. Those are Prabhupada's words. He sees you as his instruments, and he's moving you as if you were puppets. So I'll just say one other thing. When I traveled with Prabhupada, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj blessed me, I was also visiting him and Prabhupada in Mumbai, Bombay, 1977, and I got to be Prabhupada's secretary for 1 month. I had this idea from reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, how the Lord instructs different devotees intensely for like one. And I wrote to Prabhupada in December, said, Prabhupada, could I be your secretary so you could instruct me every day of my life for 1 month? He said, okay. This Hare Krishna movement has descended, appeared in this world. It's non-different from Krishna himself to give shelter to all the devotees and to annihilate the two great demons of the Kali Yuga. The demon of godless government, communism, and the demon of godless philosophy and science. And Prabhupada said, these two great demons have to be destroyed by the Hare Krishna movement through book distribution. And Prabhupada then told me, as we were continuing to talk about this in our travels, he said, one day, all over the planet, this is transforming the atmosphere of this earthly realm. It's completely spiritual all over the world. People in human bodies, whatever religious sentiments they have, are going to be awakened by such an atmosphere. That's what Sankirtan Yajna does. And then Prabhupada said, and one day the historians will note how by this Sankirtan Yajna of book distribution and this spiritualization of the whole atmosphere in the world and this awakening of religious and spiritual sentiment, they will note the history. That is how communism will end. By the people ending it, because they will have been awakened by the spiritualization of the whole world through book distribution. Now, Prabhupada said that in 1977, at the height of the Cold War of communism against, and it happened. It took some years, but the wall came down, communism started falling apart of the Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Rameshwar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, what Prabhupada has said, it is true. We can see in Mayapur, in our community, the highest number of devotees in our community are Russian devotees. They are from Russia. And now also so many Chinese devotees every year, they are flooding, coming to see the Mayapur. Hari Bol.
But there's also great numbers coming from China.
So next speaker is His Holiness Gopal, and he is also GBC of Delhi and Bombay. And three temples take a leading part. They become the top book distributors in India, and that's where Maharaj has difficulty. Which temple should become number one? So, by his mercy, in 2014, I just narrate a small incident. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj was in hospital for his treatment in Delhi. And he said, Maharaj is very organized all the youth, congregation, temple devotees, like a high spirit of book distribution. And he called from there to Mayapur leaders. He said, what you are doing, the way they are doing and the way Mayapur is doing, I don't see any hope that Mayapur can defeat Delhi. So, following in his footsteps, we try to organize different meetings and planning. And by the mercy of Gopal, this competition going on between Mayapur and Delhi. And we became number one in 2014 and 15. But in 2016, again, Delhi has defeated very badly Mayapur. So we thought again number two. But this year, 2017, by the mercy of Gopal Krishna Maharaj and the inspiration of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, this year also give his speech and enlighten us, inspire us in our book distribution efforts for Mayapur.
Shri Caitanya Manobestam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Radhi Swama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri. For this auspicious occasion, can you make it a little louder? And it was such a pleasure to hear our dear God. Mayapur is ahead of everyone. They have the best Sankirtan army, over 100 devotees, 10 buses, and the devotees are very dedicated, trained very nicely by Jayapataka Swami, Bhakti Purushottam Swami and others. And sometimes people say, you guys are always after money. You distribute books so you can make money. That may be a secondary reason. But the prime reason why Prabhupada encourages us to preach is that this is the infinite desire of the Supreme Lord. In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the dearest devotee is one who preaches my glory. Dayaya sarvabhuteshu santushti dayaya. Be merciful. And Prabhupada in the purport explains, real mercy is to give people Krishna consciousness. That is real mercy. So those who engage in this preaching activity of book distribution are actually giving the highest mercy to society. And what was the second point? Santushtayena. Be satisfied with what is provided by the will of the Lord. And sarvadvipa shantya. Have control over your mind and senses. So preaching had been encouraged by Caitanya Mahaprabhu also. In that famous story that you read in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Haridas and Nityananda, and what did he tell them? Go house to house with a message. What was the message? Bolo Krishna, Vajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha. So this is the desire of the Lord. And our Acharya, where I happened to be, till at least in 1967, the book was still there in the library. A book distributed, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also carried out the same mood. He had printing presses and he encouraged books, and he would be very, very happy. So it was Bhaktisiddhanta Ji who gave Prabhupada this instruction. In 1935, Bhaktisiddhanta Ji was leading a big Brajmandal Parikram, and Prabhupada met him in Radha Kund. So Bhaktisiddhanta Ji drew a picture of a mridanga, and he said, if Krishna gives you facility, an ordinary mridanga's voice or sound, even the best of sound system, can only travel to a point. But book distribution is so powerful that if you distribute a book in Calcutta, there's a good chance that somebody might read it. In the early days when our devotees went to one small African nation to preach, they discovered that some people already knew the philosophy. So they were very surprised. We've just come here new, and how come people already know the philosophy? Then it was revealed that two students were studying in London. They bought the books, came to a tiny country in Africa, started preaching and influencing people. So we have seen time and again how these books preach. If today you see a steady congregation and an expanding congregation, one of the main reasons is the power of these books. There was a devotee going house to house selling books, and he came to her, the philosophy, gave her Bhagavad Gita, and she became a devotee. So once somebody had, but this is planting the seed, giving them transcendental knowledge. So as Prabhupada often said, labored hard to produce these books. While we would all be sleeping and snoring, Prabhupada would be busy translating. He would get up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night and translate till 4 o'clock in the morning. Prabhupada was living in Radha Damodar temple and in a very simple room. At that time, Prabhupada would go to Chibivara, and there he would buy paper, supervise the translation of his book, supervise the printing of the books. And after the books were printed and bound, he would go to libraries to do what? Bombay, there's a pious lady called Srimati Murarji. So Prabhupada went to see her, and Srimati Murarji's secretary said the next day, and agreed to publish, pay for the printing. So Prabhupada was so determined, he's so determined to carry out his spiritual master's order. which was to translate and distribute books. Prabhupada encouraged book distribution. Rameshwar Maharaj knows better than anyone how book distribution started in America. When Prabhupada went to America and told the devotees to distribute books, they were wondering, how are we going to distribute books? Nobody had even heard much about Krishna, but they were determined. We do have good opportunity to distribute books, but we should also not forget that Maya is very deep in India also. It's not that you go on book distribution and people line up and say, come on, give me a book, give me a book, give me a book. Even in India, you talk to so many people, talk to 10 persons and you're lucky if one person is positive. Because times have changed, things are quite degraded. When Lord Caitanya homely, they said, oh, sadhus have come to our house, please, what's your message? And they would give the message, they would say, yes, we will comply with that. Some homes they went, people wouldn't even open their doors. They would say, oh, this Nimai is a madman, and it made these people mad also. And some homes they went, people would say, you did not let us take part in your Kirtan and Shiva Sangam? No, we wanted to come in. And some people would say, oh, these are thieves, dressed up as sannyasis. They've come to see what you have in the house, and they'll come later on to plunder. And then when they were accused to be thieves, Nityananda and Haridas would just laugh. So when you go to preach, it doesn't matter which part of the world you're preaching in. It's not that everyone you approach is going to enthusiastically welcome you. Some will say, yes, please tell me how can I help you, give me a book. But some people will insult you. Some people will be indifferent. Some will criticize you. We have to be prepared to tolerate all this. So, book distribution is our most important activity, and we have seen that in temples where the leaders are pushing book distribution, there is good result. Prabhupada said book distribution success comes from purity and enthusiasm. So here in Mayapur, the leaders are encouraging book distribution. As you heard, Jayapataka Swami, even when he was sick, he was encouraging book distribution. And the leaders are encouraging, the gurus are encouraging, and the managers are emphasizing the importance. And as a result, we see that book distribution is expanding nicely. So, my appeal to everyone is, those who are doing book distribution should keep doing it. We should not think that book distribution is a part-time activity. Sometimes people think, oh, I'll do it for a few years and then retire. Book distribution is our family business, is our full-time activity. And if we're sincere, Krishna will give the strength. Prabhupada said purity is the force. So book distribution means having good sadhana, chanting around nicely, and if you prepare yourself properly in the morning, then in the daytime you'll be enthusiastic to preach. And those who are not doing book distribution, you don't know what you're missing. You're missing the real joy of life. You're missing the opportunity to get the Lord's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy. So take part in this program. Now here in India and in other parts of the world, the congregation is being engaged very actively in these they don't have full-time brahmacharis, 4,000 brahmacharis, but the congregation, they take time out from their business, from their jobs, and also do book distribution. And they feel so enlightened after they do book distribution. So please take part in book distribution. Prabhupada's vision was that book distribution should go on expanding. And Prabhupada said in Vrindavan in his last days, as long as book distribution goes on, I will never die. Because through these books, Prabhupada is preaching and he will continue to preaching. Sometimes people think, oh, maybe enough people are going to stop reading these books. Prabhupada said these books will be read for the next 10,000 years. So we should enthusiastically take part in this very auspicious activity. This is an activity meant to save humanity, and if we sincerely endeavor, Krishna will help. So thank you very much, and let us be determined to expand book distribution.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So we'll have a small video from Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada also very expert in distributing books. During Prabhupada's time, one devotee came to Prabhupada and told Prabhupada that we are getting very difficulty to distribute books because there is a famous book came out in the market. Name of the book is You Are Okay, I Am Okay. So that book is selling like anything, and we are in big difficulty to distribute Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada said, no problem. So I can tell you a trick. You should go and tell that I am okay, but you are not okay. And take this book, then you also will become okay. So Prabhupada is very expert also in distributing books. So we'll hear from him now. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So I took up this from his mouth, that he is very fond of books. And he told me personally that if you get some, this is my request, print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. Then Krishna consciousness movement will automatically increase.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. So next speaker is Nareshwar Prabhu. He speaks a few words, and after that is Jananivas Prabhu. With that we'll conclude, then we'll start our book distribution awards. So Nareshwar Prabhu is a BBT trustee and is always a pillar and support for our book distribution in Mayapur. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I don't know why you called me to speak again. I already said something, no? I introduced place. So from here, Odariya Dham means, you know what it means. It means like the place where it's a very giving place. Mahaprabhu is a very giving personality. He wants to give Krishna consciousness to all living entities, which he did. And we are trying to do our small part and become he's the real doer in this. He's doing the work of Mahaprabhu, and we are trying to flood of book distribution coming from. It's very appropriate that Mayapur is strong and vibrant in that work. As Maharaj said, we are not into marathon in December or, for 1 or 2 months of the year, but our devotees, our Sankirtan men and women are into Sankirtan marathon the whole year. That's our main business. It should be our main business, and I'm very grateful to all the devotees who participate in that work. I don't know, I do my little midget assistance in that work, but the real soldiers, the real people who are doing it are those who are actually out on the field, meeting the people face to face and giving them this treasure of Srila Prabhupada's books. So that's all I wanted to assist you in any way that I can. Just you just have to ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The last speaker is His Grace Janani Vas Prabhu. And by his example, we can understand. We'd like to thank him for his wonderful inspiration and welcome him and request him to speak a few words for our inspiration. Hare Krishna.
Om Agyantimirandasya Jananjanan Shalakaya Chakshuran Militandina Tasmaya Shri Namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you for inviting me to speak. Book distribution. I took part in 1971. Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra was going on, and I was there, and I met the devotees there. And I was reading Bhagavad Gita, but then they started to preach to me and showed me Prabhupada's Gita. Everything came to light as soon as I read Prabhupada's Gita with questions. So I was really excited to meet the devotees, and they were doing Sankirtan also. There were few devotees, only a few devotees, 4 or 5. They were there for the Rath Yatra festival, and they were doing the Sankirtan. And they were distributing Back to Godhead. They had a special English edition, Rath Yatra edition of Back to Godhead. And so anyway, they preached to me and showed me Prabhupada's Gita. And then they said, you can take this magazine. We're going now, you read it. You can read this magazine. We're coming tomorrow. You can come here tomorrow. We'll meet you here. So I said, okay. Because I had seen them distributing it. So he gave me 2 rupees, and I give it to him tomorrow. I'll see the devotees tomorrow. So I did some Sankirtan service directly in front of Lord Jagannath, Balaram and Subhadra. They were out in their Rath Yatra. 3 days later, I was in Calcutta Temple, Nepal, for a holiday after the book marathon they have. So they went to Nepal this year, and they come back, and devotee, his name was Ramanuja Das, I think, or his brother was Ramanuja. I think Ramanuja. So he come back and he said, look, we went to the Nepal, we went to Gandaki, and I've got this Shila, Shalagrama Shila. So you can have a look and identify it for me. The idea is that one who worships this deity, one who adores this Shalagram Shila his whole life, then the whole material universe shrinks. Worship that Shila. Cross over the ocean of material existence, easy. So the next day he came and he said, did you have a look? I said, yeah, it's a Krishna Shila. I said, what are you going to do with it? I had my fingers crossed. He said, you can keep it. Or isn't it? And he said, well, I don't think I can worship. I said, Adi Baba, you know the Shalagram with this Lakshana means you worship this deity, you go back home, back to Godhead. You don't want to go back, it's your ticket back to Godhead, and you're saying you don't want to worship. He said, well, if I worship, it will mean I need a little loader and a little plate or something, because we don't get facilities on Sankirtan. And if I have a loader and a bell and a little plate, I think it'll interfere with my Sankirtan service. Therefore, I don't want to carry this. I felt about this big. My consciousness was, I just simply wanted to go back to Godhead. But the Sankirtan devotee, he thought...
Sankirtan devotees to this. Yes. And credit, one of the biggest credit goes to him because he translated all the books of Srila Prabhupada from English to Bengali. That's why our devotees are distributing and
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatta Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada considered book distribution to be so important because Prabhupada had a mission, and that mission was to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And Srila Prabhupada considered that the books are the most important means to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada often told us, when we speak, only a few people can hear. But when we have them presented in the book form, and wherever the book goes, people get to hear our message. And that's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur considered the printing press some distance. But this sound of Krishna conscious chanting of the glory of Krishna, Prabhupada gave so much emphasis to book distribution. And we are seeing ISKCON is actually one of the fastest growing movement, fastest growing spiritual movement in this world. Like Christianity took more than 2000 years. How did it happen? Because of our book distribution. And where over the world, devotees all over the world started to distribute books just to inspire Srila Prabhupada. I remember in 1 month, 30,000 books. Those days was quite a large score. And also, every day Tamal Krishna Maharaj's letters. Those days he was Ghanashyam Prabhu. Ghanashyam Prabhu was distributing books behind iron curtains, Prabhupada's books. And he used to write often to Srila Prabhupada, giving Srila Prabhupada all these exciting incidents of how he is distributing the books and how wonderfully Krishna is making arrangements for him to distribute books in those countries at that time. So this is how, and Srila Prabhupada used to, when he used to get those letters, Prabhupada used to say that they enliven him, they give him new life. Just a message of book distribution. So that's why it is our solemn responsibility to take up this mission of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books wherever we are, in whichever way we can. And recently Vaisheshika Prabhu, who is an illustrious book distributor, Vaisheshika Prabhu was working in a company to maintain his family, but every day, even though he was working in an office, but every day during lunchtime he used to go out and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. And he did that for years together. And finally, now that Vaisheshika Prabhu came back, retiring from his service, retiring from his job, Vaisheshika Prabhu is inspiring the devotees all over the world. The way no one ever thought of distributing books, those individuals are becoming inspired to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. And they're getting amazing results. The householders, our congregation members in Canada, in America, in Europe are becoming inspired to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. And the temples that didn't have any score for book distribution before, they are now coming on the top 10 of book distributing temples. So this is how important Srila Prabhupada's books are, and this is how important the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books is. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. So please take up this mission of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada's book distribution ki, Gaur Premanande. Book distribution Kari Sankirtan Bhaktagan ki, Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. So now we'll be distributing awards to Mayapur Sankirtan devotees, and you have to wait only because after this there will be Darshan Arati. So message from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, then we'll start distributing books. So my dear Sankirtan devotees and Mayapur book distributors, please accept my best wishes. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks for your austerities. You have taken Mayapur book distribution again to the superlative position. You have again achieved first place in the world for 2017. Hari Bol. The temples are all hampered by the demonetization. I will try to return to Mayapur very soon, try to get lots of mercy by serving the visiting Vaishnavas. Hope this finds you in good health. Your well-wisher always, Jayapataka Swami. I don't know I should say this or not. Going to the hospital is not good from a material point of view, but he went to the hospital in 2014. Mayapur became number 1 in book distribution. 2015 again he went to hospital in Delhi, and Mayapur again became number 1. But 2016 he didn't go to the hospital. But Mayapur could not become number 1. But again this year he is in the hospital, and Mayapur again became number 1. So it's amazing. Krishna consciousness is really amazing, and from the hospital is inspiring more to distribute more books, and that is really inspirational for the Mayapur Sankirtan devotees. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj ki. He never 1,777 book points. Eighth position. Fourth position goes to Tushto Ram Prabhu, 23,440. Position goes to Ananta Ananda Gaur Prabhu, 37,360 book points. Very young, but very enthusiastic book distributor, and his book distribution point is Hare Krishna. After this 10 top book distributor, we will have 3 special category book distributors. First one is, he is not from Sankirtan department, he is a Namhatta preacher, but he takes part in book distribution throughout the year. He is one of the leading book distributor of Mayapur. His Grace Param Dayal Gauranga Prabhu. And he has a book points of 43,653 book points. Haribal. Next is a very, very special Sankirtan devotee, distributing books for last 25 years. His Grace Kamalapati Prabhu. He is the inspiration for all the Sankirtan devotees, because we want all the devotees to distribute books throughout whole life. So he is the inspiration for all the Sankirtan boys. Hare Krishna. Kamalapati Prabhu ki.
He didn't want to take sannyas. He said if he takes sannyas, then he won't be able to distribute books. So he just wants to distribute books. So in order to distribute books, he even sacrificed his sannyas. Thank you.
That book distribution is most important thing in our ISKCON movement. Hari Bol. In the past, Kamalapati Prabhu also became the top distributor in the whole world. So he has a very wonderful track record of book distribution. Not only senior, he was very, very successful in book distribution. Distributing books is the real sannyas, Gopal Krishna Maharaj says. And the last special award goes to a very special personality, the pillar of our book distribution in Mayapur, His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. And his book scores is 53,103 book points. Haribal. And I like to request His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj, an ideal disciple of him and the pillar of book distribution of Mayapur, should take this award from the esteemed guest here. Haribal.
Krishna Maharaj also pointed out that not only he is distributing books, he is inspiring devotees all over the world to distribute books.
I want to share one thing that Prabhupada told me. And it's been personally, this is my highest realization about book distribution. Devotees sometimes come up to me, especially in the West, and they say, "You have distributed millions of books. Why don't we see millions of devotees right away?" They've challenged this with a materialistic vision. And I quote what Prabhupada said to me and what I've experienced through my meditation on book distribution. Those souls that appreciated and took that book would have gone back into the lowest species of life in this Kali Yuga, when that human life was going to end. But Prabhupada said, by this Sankirtan and taking of this book and appreciating it, they will continue in their next birth where they left off. You have saved them book distribution.
Hare Krishna. How many of you know this very special devotee, Rameshwar Prabhu? Rameshwar Prabhu was one of the generals of Srila Prabhupada's Sankirtan movement. He was the GBC and Prabhupada's secretary, and he committed himself to print Srila Prabhupada's books in such a way that Prabhupada was so pleased with him. And Srila Prabhupada saw what a remarkable devotee he was. And you know what Prabhupada told at one time? That he is the most intelligent devotee. It is Rameshwar Prabhu.
My intelligence is this: to be the servant of the book distributors, life after life, birth after birth. That's my intelligence.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And how long did it take to print Chaitanya Charitamrita 17 volumes? Rameshwar? 3 months?
Just to clarify, the 17-book marathon, Adi Leela Volume 2 had come out, and just before the marathon started, Adi Leela Volume 1 had come out. Chaitanya Charitamrita is 17 volumes, so that leaves 15 volumes. But while we were just getting ready, Prabhupada had already kept going and translated the most difficult part of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, the 2 volumes of 5th canto. So now you have lying, printed 15 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the 2 volumes of the 5th canto made up the 17 volumes of books. He empowered the devotees who worked on this marathon to give up eating and sleeping for 60 days. They actually gave up sleep. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 hours a night. That's all they took. And in 2 months' time, the last book was sent to the printer. By his divine order comes the power to carry out the order.
And right in the front of all those empowered devotees, guess who was there? Rameshwar Prabhu. Thank you all very much, Rameshwar Prabhu. We are so happy to have you here with us. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So once again, this is the prize that's going to His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. And Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj is receiving it on behalf of Jayapataka Maharaj. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj.
Second position goes to East of Kailas, New Delhi. 9,82,826 book points. And number 1 goes to ISKCON Mayapur. Mayapur distributed 6 lakhs some points, but this year almost double. 75 to 80% book distribution has increased in around 20 lakh book points in 2018.
Is Hanuman Das from Delhi here? They give us, every year I give him a special prize here. He's the number 1 book distributor in the world. Hanuman. The leading book distributor in the world.
Haribol.
Hanuman Prabhu ke.
So we'll have 10 Sankirtan buses in Mayapur, 10 Sankirtan parties. So we'll announce the names. Number 10 goes to traveling Sankirtan party 9, and they distribute books in Odisha. Their book points is a marathon book score, 1,886 book points. Then 9th position goes to TSKP 2. They distribute books in the Hindi speaking area, and their marathon book score is 5,478 book points. 8th position goes to TSKP 1, 7,719 book points, and they distribute books in Bengal, TSKP 1. Then 6th position goes to TSKP, 4th position goes to TSKP 6, 19,844 book points. 3rd position goes to TSKP 8, and their book distribution score is in the marathon is 21,849 book points. 2nd position goes to TSKP 4. Bus leader is Dindayal Prabhu, and their book distribution score is 27,824 book points. Haribol. And there is a huge gap between number 2 and number 1, and Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj announced the 1st position.
See, 1st position, they distributed books in such a place, nobody wants to go to distribute books there. And I encouraged, I told other place, you distribute 1 books, And if you distribute 10 books, that is equal to distribute 1 book here. Please go to distribute books. That time hardly it was so difficult to distribute books. And these devotees, they went, they started distributing books. Now, then the first position, and that is the place Kolkata, the birthplace of Srila Prabhupada. That is 77,809 book point TSKP 5. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
So apart from Sankirtan department, 21 areas or departments of Mayapur also participated in book distribution in Mayapur. So we'll announce 3 departments name award, but I'll announce the names first. Group, Bhaktivedanta National School, Campus Preaching Department, Guest House Department, Malda ISKCON, School Preaching Department, Mayapur BBT, Nitya Kishore Mataji and his group, Durgapur Temple, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Servant Group, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj Servant Group, departments other than Sankirtan in book distribution. So 3rd position goes to Mayapur Seva Office and Mayapur Food for Life Department, headed by His Grace Sundar Govinda Prabhu. He is hospitalized, he is not so well, so he will not be able to come. 2nd position goes to Srila Prabhupada Pushpa Samadhi Mandir, Haribol. And book distribution points is 65,137 book points. Bhakta Janapriya Prabhu or Lakshmipati Prabhu, anybody, if you hear? So 1st position goes, and because of them only Mayapur became number 1. Namatta department, Haribol. And their book distribution code is 2,18,544 book points. So I request Padmanetra Prabhu, one of the co-regional director of Mayapur Namatta, to come and take the award. Hare Krishna. Give very big Haribol for Namatta. Haribol. So now main devotees from Sankirtan, though they are the main person behind everything of Mayapur book distribution, I will announce the names of those devotees. First is Bangshi Gopinath Prabhu. He keeps all the record and he is the in charge of our go down of Sankirtan division. Bangshi Prabhu. Then next is, we have a structure that we have Sankirtan buses. Prema Bhakti Prabhu. And Subarna Gaur also is one of the devotee who looks after all the buses. His Grace Subarna Gaur Prabhu. This is Prema Bhakti Prabhu. Then we have the divisional head of Mayapur Sankirtan division, His Grace Gaur Dham Prabhu. Then the fire, the inspiration, the planning, and who only knows book distribution, nothing else. Wherever he goes, only book distribution. Even if he goes to the Middle East, Bangladesh, wherever he goes, he talks about only book distribution. The pillar of our Mayapur book distribution, His Grace Benudhari Prabhu. Benudhari Prabhu means book distribution. Haribol. So each area of Mayapur preaching is looked after by MAC member. So MAC member for Mayapur Sankirtan is His Grace Subhekshana Prabhu. And the main pillar of Mayapur book distribution is His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. As a GBC MEP member, the pillar and leader of our Mayapur book distribution, His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj ke.
Oh, very well. So many things. Okay, but the Prabhu is announcing, he did not announce his name. But actually, behind all our endeavor, Sankarshan Prabhu has a lot of contribution. And throughout the year, he also encourages, and being in management, from every respect, he provides all kinds of facilities to the Sankarshan Prabhu. Okay. Go, go. Last key. Finally, I would like to request two sentences, little mercy. To give little mercy. So finally we have Vaisasik Prabhu. He was supposed to be one of the speakers, which is late. But I hope, because while he's here, 2-3 minutes, we should listen from him. Is it okay for you? Then we'll have vote of thanks, then conclude this program.
Hare Krishna. We see here today an army of devotees who are dedicated to distributing books. And this doesn't happen by accident. This is deliberate. Somebody has received the clear order from Srila Prabhupada, which comes from the open order of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. And of course, that open order of Caitanya Mahaprabhu has come in a very specific way through our acharyas and through our present acharya, its Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He said, my spiritual master was especially fond of books. And as a strategy, he put it forward as the main way in which we would inculcate Krishna consciousness into the people of the world. And for those whose hearts resonate with that exact instruction and vision of Srila Prabhupada, they translate that into action by organizing the Sankirtan parties. And this level of organization which you're exhibiting here today, it takes a painstaking effort. It means there are hundreds of battles to be fought, one after another. Such progress in developing an organization like this happens 1 inch at a time, because we're dealing with hundreds of hours of counseling and being there for the devotees and making sure everything works. So what you're doing here to inundate India and beyond with transcendental literature is directly in line with Srila Prabhupada and the great acharyas. Not only that, all of line with Caitanya Mahaprabhu's order, and you're creating an effect in the world. You're creating some